Hey guys, what's going on? Today, Treyarch announced that tomorrow will be the release of the trailer for Firebase Z, the first DLC map for Cold War Zombies, and probably going to be about maybe, I'm hoping it's about 1 o'clock. I hope they don't go too late, like maybe 2 or 3, but it should be pretty exciting. They did include a small little sneak peek, I guess you can say, of the trailer, I suppose, and it's probably going to be a storyline narrative trailer, not necessarily gameplay. I think the gameplay trailer usually comes a little bit later, or maybe the day before the map releases. But it should be pretty exciting. It looks like obviously it's going to be Vietnam, and there's going to be a portal of some sort, maybe linking us to another part of the map. Well, people are saying they think it's going to be teleporting us to another part of the map, maybe a village. But I wonder, it looks like it's going to more teleport us maybe to the Dark Aether itself. And I'll get a little bit more into that. I just want to kind of show you the announcement that they made today at like almost 2 o'clock, that the trailer is going to drop tomorrow. I'm going to get more to storyline stuff in a few minutes. They did also include on their other platforms some images. I don't remember what came from what, but they did put on Instagram, Twitter, and I believe Facebook different images. Actually, you know what? All these I got from Instagram, so Instagram should have all three images. And sorry if my voice sounds a little bit rough because it's uh, been an interesting last couple of days. I had a small little cold. But as you can see, these actually look very cartoony, which is cool. Or they're like almost little images or posters you would find, or like military propaganda type stuff. They do look pretty cool. I did mention on Twitter, and of course, most of this happens on Twitter. It's not like they really do any announcements on YouTube, which would be interesting because they probably should start doing that now because Instagram has the messages that you can send out. But I said that they look like trading cards. It'd be kind of cool, since that's kind of my niche, if they do like some type of trading cards or somewhere you can unlock these and trade with other people. Maybe have a variation like this one has like a tan beige border, but like trading cards they could do red, blue, green, black borders and specialty mark stuff. That would be kind of cool to mix it up. All they would have to do is go in and right click and paste a different border and give us different variations on that. Even for like calling cards, maybe at one point they should have calling cards having different levels of rarity, I guess is the main thing. I mean, it is a poster, or they could just do that for the poster itself, is just have rarity levels, would be kind of cool. But for this, obviously, it has like a red border, but let's say black is the more rare border. They can do like a black border. It's harder to find it or get it, or like a challenge or something like that. But basically, I think it goes with trading cards. I think it goes green, red, blue. Or actually, they could just do like the gun rarities. I don't even know why I'm saying that. But yeah, I guess whatever the gun rarities are, in gold being legendary would probably be the best way to go. So anyways, that was the first one on Instagram. Basically, there's canisters of dark ether, but it's kind of interesting how and why they're canning dark ether, which is, like I said, very interesting, and that's one of the creatures coming out of the dark ether. I don't know how or why they would want to can or bottle the dark ether. I know it's some form of energy, so maybe these are like batteries or energy canisters. I know in other stories, the world's energy has become a shortage. So maybe same thing. They're going to the planet Dark Ether, uh, looking for more sources of energy because there's a crisis on Earth, something along the lines like that, or it's weaponized or something like that. Again, this is one of the creatures coming out of the Dark Ether, and this one has almost like a Horizon Rock. Like I mentioned, there might be some big inspiration from the Horizon Rock, like one of the the platform catapults. I forget what they call it on Horizon Drop, or I know it has like landing pads. A jump pad, I guess, is basically what it is. And it's cool too if they ever try, or if they ever think about going down the route of having a Fortnite type battle royale, that these will probably come in helpful, and you can use them as jump pads throughout the map and stuff like that. So anyways, it looks like this guy gets smacked into the fence or gate or something like that. Again, it's also reminiscent of the catapult on Die Rise, which I can't remember. Like I said, whenever I do this, my mind just goes blank sometimes. I can't remember what that's called. I can probably remember if I wanted to think about it, but it'll come to me probably at some point. But this was a second image on Instagram, and don't know if you're actually gonna die if you smack into something. That'd be kind of interesting. And the last one is one of the Dark Aether teleporters. I guess maybe something happens, or if maybe you're staying too long, or whatever, or maybe if the teleporter isn't ready, you can come out all melted and stuff like that, which is pretty interesting, as always. It's funny too, it kind of looks like the Xbox logo on the bottom left. That's pretty cool. Again, this is some clips of the little image or little teaser. It was a GIF, I think, actually, like a little teaser, not image, teaser video, like a 3-second video. So it looks like it's Samantha with maybe a backpack on, going through the teleporter, the Dark Aether teleporter, and people are saying it's gonna, I guess it would teleport you, because all the other teleporters, you do the same thing. There's an animation when you go through the teleporter. I just thought maybe, or hope, that you would actually go to the Dark Aether instead of you having to trigger the Dark Aether with the anomalies, I guess is what they call them. I forget. So this would be interesting if you're going to the Dark Aether this way now. Again, like I said, instead of using the anomalies, that you go this way instead of using those. But I think people are saying they could go to another part of the map, but I don't know how that would make sense. I'm trying to think. You would probably, I don't think you would go through the other part of the map using this. Anyways, well, I guess we'll just have to wait and find out. I'm thinking if you wanted to go to the other part of the map, you would use a boat, because there is a river, and I thought maybe a river would be like a part of the map. I don't think you would use a teleporter to go to another part of the map. I'm thinking you would probably use some other type of transportation. Again, this is kind of weird, but it's a hand coming out. See, that doesn't make sense. So I definitely don't think it's going to be. And that's why I say when I make these, I make them to help out the zombies community. Because some stuff that I see and I hear, I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. Or people just can't figure stuff out. There's a hand coming out of the teleporter. So people are saying the teleporter is going to bring you to the other part of the map. That doesn't make any sense at all. It's obviously going to bring you to the Dark Aether. I don't know what we're going to have to do in the Dark Aether. And probably the same thing, there'll be different monsters inside the Dark Aether. And this is a claw or a hand from that monster that we saw before in this image. So it's interesting to see how they're going to use those monsters. Again, this is the photos are kind of out of whack, to be honest with you. This is the hand reaching out, and this is the hand when it's pretty much out of the teleporter, which is kind of cool. The colors are amazing, obviously. It looks very like anime. Again, that looks like Samantha with her black hat on. So it'll be interesting. We did see Samantha in Die Machine's intro, but we didn't use her, so it might be the same thing. I don't know if they would put her in the game as a playable character. And the other thing I wanted to say, like I said in the beginning, Dark Aether is a planet. Of course, people hate me saying it. because it makes them look bad. But it's not my fault that people don't do research. Dark Aether is a planet, unless Treyarch is really switching the story around. But the whole idea of Aether and Dark Aether, or another planet of Aether, unless they're just using the Aether. Yeah, well, the story's about Dark Aether, right? You're traveling to the Dark Aether. So somehow using those teleporters, in theory, you're on Earth and you're going to teleport, which Earth is technically Aether, and then the Dark Aether is a duplicate of Earth, but in using dark matter, and in this case dark Aether. And of course you can see the colors are very much the same. So the people, I was going to make a separate video about that, how people don't do research. They just kind of look at something and think they can figure it out. And I've said it probably half a dozen times now. It's very insulting to the devs that make the game that you can just look at something and BS your way. It's like, you know what the problem is? A lot of the kids that do YouTube are very young, and they BS with their teachers, they BS with their parents. When it comes to trying to figure stuff out, you can't BS your way making or figuring out or getting the answer. You actually have to do some research. It's like the difference between going to a community college and going to like an Ivy League school. You can probably BS your way through community college or high school or middle school. Take a random guess on your test, fill out some random BS answer in your open-ended questions, and get partial credit or some of it right. But once it comes to figuring stuff out like this, it's very complicated, and it's been complicated for a long time, or not complicated, I guess complex. Stuff that's complex to figure out, you actually have to do some research, and that's what I'm saying. Like people, alright, people just look at the teleporter. Oh, we're gonna use that to get to the other part of the map. You actually have to do some research and understand that that teleporter. I mean, I know we've gotten teleporters before, and it did bring us to other parts of the map. So in that argument, I can kind of see where people are getting it from. It's just that in this story, it's been taking us to the Dark Aether, and I don't understand how or why they would just put a teleporter with the new Dark Aether technology or mechanism that we've used in Die Machine, and just switch it up and say, hey, now we're just going to another part of the map. I know, like I said, in Die Machine they used the anomalies, but now it's a teleporter. So I'm thinking it's going to teleport us to the Dark Aether, which they didn't really explain too much in the first map, but in the second map it should be known that it's a planet. And there is an image out there, of course I didn't include it, I forgot to, of an astronaut saying, hey, do you want to be an Aether astronaut? And no, it doesn't say Dark Aether astronaut, but it says Aether, so that should be interesting. Maybe they didn't want to give too much away, letting you know that it's the Dark Aether that he really meant. But anyways, that's pretty much going to sum it up. Again, I know the trailer is getting released tomorrow, so I just don't want to. I guess at this point I would say, like, trying to figure stuff out leading up to the maps, but once it's about to come out, it's like I don't want to try and figure out too much. I just want to kind of wait and sit back and check out the trailer tomorrow and be surprised. Like, I like trying to get a general idea what's going to happen, but I don't want to know 100% what's going to happen. So it should be very exciting tomorrow to try and figure out. Well, not try and figure out, but to kind of see what the trailer is going to be like, what the map's going to be like. I have a general idea. Like I said, Vietnam, probably going to mimic or have some type of story, maybe like Apocalypse Now movie. Because they have always taken inspiration from movies. So my general idea, and I try not to figure out too much or look too deep into it. Obviously, there's going to be one of the weapons going to be in Vietnam. It's going to use the Dark Aether. We're going to probably travel the Dark Aether. They did hint about being an Aether astronaut, so I'm like, hey, maybe we're going to travel to the Dark Aether. They're going to reveal that it's more of a planet, not so much like a different parallel universe. Because I think if they go the angle of the parallel universe again, it's going to be a little bit very complicated. even though it kind of is a parallel universe, but it should let people know that it's an actual another planet that gets duplicated when Aether or 115, or in this case Exo Element, gets involved. It somewhat creates an alternate planet. In this case, it would be like Dark Aether is the alternate Earth planet. Just a couple guesses, like I said. Anyways, I'll see you guys later.